if you by yourself cannot create that light, then we have to somehow try that the circumstances on the outside help you, support you a little bit along this way. So let's start taking this question quite literally, meaning it's too dark. So the result of if something is too dark is it's very difficult to actually distinguish anything. What are your possibilities in the darkness? Because you don't see any direction, you don't see objects in the darkness. So what therefore the approach is, what therefore I think must be done is, no matter which method you're using, you need to light up that space. So either you find a way to really light up that space so that in such a way that darkness slowly disappears and you slowly start to see what is in that room, what is in that space. That is the first possibility. Or the second one would be that you are developing yourself and are equipping yourself with some type of skills that gives you better abilities to see in the dark. And that can now mean to translate this. Sometimes when we are talking about seeing, we often relate it to the eyes, of course. But now there are different types of martial arts that already know sometimes things are going too fast. So fast that it's not advisable to only rely your actions upon what your eyes are able to perceive. So that's why now we're increasing sensibility and sensitivity in other areas of ourselves, which means the sensitivity of your touch, the sensitivity of realizing noise. Yeah? And that means in the Chinese martial arts, for example, there are different methods that are training certain skills, the skills to better listen. But listening, this time not meaning listening with the ears, listening while touching and being in contact with the person. That means the sensitivity increases of how you are starting to perceive your counterpart, let's say. And now translating this into the question, how can someone now who finds himself in this type of darkness, so what can he do? And there I can really only say there are a lot of different methods out there, and every door needs one certain key. Sometimes the Shaolin methods are not always the proper ones to just be offered to anyone. Sometimes it just doesn't fit. But the principle behind all of this is, see, this feeling of darkness in the way, this feeling of something is, yeah, exactly, it's closed to you. So if I right now just replace that word darkness with the term that something is closed, the possibilities are closed because there's nothing to see. You don't know what to do. So what are we doing in the different methods now in the Shaolin Temple? Number one step is open the body, or open the human. Open the human not only in terms of physically opening, meaning stretch open the muscles, stretch open the tendons, stretch open the ligaments, open really the body, open the lungs, that more oxygen can come in. But also means open the mind. Open the mind meaning to stop, to realize whenever you are in a way limiting your views, for example, limiting your own perspective. And by regularly practicing, every day we have exercises to open the body. Every day we take care that we are opening and stay with the open mind. this openness after time is something that we are then starting to incorporate into our being, into our daily life. And this is what opens then the doors again. The more open you become, the more you will see once again the possibilities that are out there. And now, practically speaking, what should you do? Increase the level of activity. That is like, if you want to have a one straight answer, if somebody finds himself in a too dark place, increase the amount of activity. Which means spend a lot of time outside while the sun is shining, where there are a lot of people. The opposite is you're in a dark place and you stay at home in your four walls. For some time, it's sometimes necessary, but this is not going to be the solution. So that means if you by yourself cannot create that light, then we have to somehow try that the circumstances on the outside help you, support you a little bit along this way. And it can be quite similar, being also seen with this monastery. If everybody would have the ability to bring out the self-discipline, you don't need like disciplinary masters. Meaning you don't need a monastery also that takes care that you are keeping that external rules and the external structure. But like, for example, today, all the young guys that came, if they would already be so self-disciplined that they know exactly what they can do, what they cannot do, if they want to achieve something, that they just focus on that. If they knew all of these things, well, then they don't need this monastery anymore. But the point is that no human being, or a few, let's say, or very little, it's difficult sometimes if you are surrounded with different environments to always remind yourself back again. What is the state of being to keep on walking? And therefore, if it is not existing in the beginning coming from yourself, that's why we need sometimes external support. And the same goes for the question, if somebody finds himself in that place of darkness. Either you find a way that you can find some light in there, and then make it shine brighter from day to day. Or you need support. And this support at the same time can also mean, I think it makes sense to say that if you are looking for external support, you need to find the persons that already solved this problem, that already went through that darkness, that already had been in that darkness. Because if somebody has never been there, what are the answers, what are the solutions this person giving you? From which fundament are they coming? On behalf of which basis? So that means sometimes the answers to such questions, they must come from someone who already had experience in that area. Because all other things are sometimes assumptions, book knowledge, which doesn't mean it's wrong, but it still is quite different. If you are talking sometimes to people where you know they went through something, this is not talk. It's talk from their experience.